Afternoon, ladies and gents, and we are in the Jewel Tower, Westminster, not the Tower of London. King Edward III built the Jewel Tower in 1365 as part of his palace at Westminster to store his personal treasure of fine textiles, household plate. Kings of England kept their goods here until the late 16th century. Lies above, wild animals, grotesque heads, watched over all visitors to the Jewel Tower since it was built. Just to pause to read any of the descriptions.
Water and Coca-Cola. Sorry? I've done 3. Oh, sorry. You have that gas.
There you can see the Queen Elizabeth Tower of the Houses of Parliament there. Here she is. Tuck this wire into my rucksack because it's going to get on my nerves otherwise. Right. Then she'll go up now. Newer stairs than would have been in originally, of course, but these old winding stairs, as I always say, usually one was higher or lower than each one. None of them were the same size, and they was known as trip stairs or trick stairs. So if someone was invading, they'd trip up the stairs and hopefully fall on their own sword. Westminster Abbey. And when you're running up these stairs, if you're right-handed like most people, it's near on impossible to strike with a sword because of this thing. But if you're standing above, it's easy to stab down and defend. Begin your journey on the second floor. Right, we'll do that first then. Gap in there. They've evened them out. Even so, even the new stuff's worn away. picture from the Jewel Tower moat. Archaeologists just recovered a green skull, an adult female domestic cat. Medieval times, they often used to bury cats and things inside the walls alive, unfortunately, because they believed it warded off evil. Among the more unusual objects which were recovered, they include a glass head of a queen, which once formed the top of a drinking fountain for birds, and probably came from the nearby house of a merchant or nobleman.
We went there yesterday, that. What else? Victoria Street, Buckingham, and then come back. Here's this one. Yeah, it's not that.
There was a nice breeze coming through the window. Wow, look how old that is, look at that window catch. Westminster then and now. Discoveries in the moat. Wine bottles, 17th century. Two-headed bowl, 1711. Drug jars, 1625 to 50. Sun Tavern Farthing. Yeah, I've got some tokens indoors. Funny enough, one of them is from one of my own ancestors, who was a baker in Dover, and God, what's the name of the place? The one that's next to Dover. I can never remember it. Deal. Mr. Kite, and yeah, that's a token from his one. Westminster sword, fine Anglo-Saxon sword. Is over 1,000 years old. It was probably made in the west of modern Germany and may have arrived in England through the trade. The sword would have been highly prized by its owner. The central blade is an iron and steel strips welded together, making it extremely strong and durable. The sword was discovered in 1948 during excavations in the Victoria Tower Gardens opposite the Jewel Tower. London's lost royal palace. The Palace of Westminster. The Palace of Westminster burned down in the 1830s, I think it was. St Stephen's Chapel shown in this reconstruction in the 14th century. As part of the medieval Palace of Westminster and was used by kings of England for worship. King Edward III and Queen Philippa can be seen in the foreground. 1834, destroyed much of the medieval palace. The fire started supposedly because in the old days a lot of accounting was done on things called tally sticks, and the government was burning all its tally sticks, and so the story goes the fire got out of control, and there you go. And another story is that a laundress was drying washing over charcoal braziers, and that started the fire, so you take your pick.
Ah, yes, still good. You've applied for payment for returning these items through Elton yesterday morning. You have been told my assistants have found some irregularities.
Yes, Simon, that has been mentioned. Some damage and unexpected items, I understand. And how can I give help?
Well, first these damaged items. This slice plate, as you can see, the enamel work here has a chip which has come loose. And the spoon, this one has a snap stem. I need to receive your report of how this damage came about.
tally sticks. That's what I was on about there. That's what started the fire. A tally stick, you would have notches and whatnot carved into it. It'd be split down the middle. The government would keep one piece, you would get another. When you returned it back, if there were less or more notches or whatnot, or more notches carved into it, they knew that you were on the rob. It was a way of keeping track of things. They had to burn them every now and then, and the story goes that they were being burned, and it escalated into a very severe fire.
Master Bacon, you called for me.
Ah, yes, you're good. You've applied for payment for returning these items from Elton Manor yesterday morning. You have been told my assistants have found some irregularities.
Yes, sire, that has been mentioned. Some damage and an unexpected item, I understand. How can I be of help?
Well, firstly, these damaged items. This spice blend, as you can see, the enamel work here has a chip which has come loose. And the spoon on this one has a snapped stem. I need to receive your report of how this damage came about.
Yes, sire. I was given this letter by a clerk in Elton Manor with the seal of Master Hugh, the keeper of the wardrobe. I understand this explains that the unfortunate breakages happened there.
King Henry VII, who was the father of Henry VIII, of course, was known as the Miser King, the Winter King. He came in in the winter, and he was blamed for bringing the sweating sickness in with his mercenary army. And the saying was that he came in with the cold and did bring about a great sweat. He wasn't much loved because he was very, very miserly, and he would punish people with very, very big fines, sometimes when they'd not even done anything wrong. So, some of his ministers, who were also hated, when Henry VII died, Henry VIII had those ministers executed to appease the people. And I was quite pleased with that. Look at that for a dollar. Look. Someone's coming up. Someone's coming up. Wait for the people to come up and then we shall go back down. Bracketry for that. All no doubt fitted by a blacksmith in its day. You can't go up that bit, but turn myself around, grab hold of that rail because these stairs are a bit dodgy for me. Getting old and frail and brittle, and I don't want to become even older and frailer and brittler by smashing my ass down these stairs. Oops. Now with this floor to do. Clark's 1580 to 1864. Hopkins, who greatly enjoyed exploring, learning about and appreciating many English heritage properties from their daughters Margaret Appleton and Diana Frank. Heritage to preserve and enhance, provide access to and increase understanding of England's historic environment. That's calligraphy, that's been done by that man, I should think. And there's probably loads of it in there, that book. Setting the standard. The imperial system of measurements used by millions of people was standardised in the Jewel Tower. Oh, I didn't know that. Learn something new every day, don't we? Pause to read, guys and girls, because I can't read it all out, so it'll make the video ridiculously long. Illustration from the 1992 shows the ground floor of the Jewel Tower when it was full of special equipment to test and define weights and measurements. Modern day councils check the accuracy of weights and measures to make sure businesses are trading fairly. This inspector in the 1970s is checking the accuracy of a beer measuring instrument used in a pub for a pint and half pint. Test traders' weights. Would I trust this man? Nah. Nah. Not as far as I could ejaculate him. Which is a good 3 foot on, alright, well, I got you. Sorry, shouldn't say that. If my nan was alive, she'd go, oh, you filthy little stink pot, and then probably give me a whack. She didn't do vulgarity, my nan. Well, as I am partial to a little bit of vulgarity, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of vulgarity. Ouch, that was my ankle. Meet the clerk. Pause to read, as I say. Huguenots, French exiles, they was fleeing religious persecution in France. They were French Protestants, and they came over here. I gave them refuge, and it helped us as well because they became silk weavers and traders and helped set off a flourishing silk trade. Immigration is no new thing in England. It's very different years ago though. St. Stephen's Chapel. Virtue of St. Stephen's, a recreation of lost spaces in the heart of Westminster. Discover how St Stephen's Chapel, a medieval palace of worship for kings and queens, became the first permanent home of the House of Commons. Explore the amazing stories and the spaces occupants through 6th century. These reconstructions were modelled by the University of York and funded by Arts and Humanities Research Council in partnership with Parliament. Said all that in one breath. St Stephen's Chapel. These reconstructions are amazing, they really are clever. So these are brilliant, these things. Something that was burned down in the 1830s, we can still kind of enjoy today. Done that one. St Mary Undercroft. I've heard of this one a few times in books and audiobooks. Well, that's impressive, isn't it? Did that one. Westminster Abbey. The coronation chair. Under the chair used to be something called the Stone of Scone that was stolen from Scotland by King Edward, the hammer of the Scots, which should never have been taken, and it was returned in fairly recent times actually to the Scottish people, back to where it belongs. It's Westminster Abbey. Do this on Westminster Hall. I will be coming to see Westminster Abbey and Westminster Hall soon, but not soon, but once the school holidays are finished. It's too busy at the moment. Churches are pretty okay because a lot of people seem to find them quite boring, so. They do me, I don't mind that. Construction of the exterior of the hall when it was first built. Alright. That's our virtual tour. Just all different things in that. House of Commons. Destruction. That's the fire. Started with the House of Lords. the tally sticks accident waiting to happen. I said to you it was about tally sticks, didn't I? Right, I'll close this window. Sorry. Go into another room. The documents would have been stored. Pull up the wooden rails to see copies of important documents once kept in the dual tower. Oops. Death warrant of King Charles I. That was a pretty important one. 29th of January 1649. Copy of one of the most important documents in English history. The official order of execution of King Charles I. It was drawn up by a court established by a House of Commons following Parliament's defeat of the King in the English Civil War. The court believed that Charles had exercised too much power and ignored wishes from Parliament. Following the trial at Westminster Hall, King Charles was found guilty of high treason, and on January the 30th, 1649, he was executed. Although the monarchy was restored in 1660, it was never as powerful again. An act of union of the two kingdoms of England and Scotland. Oh, that's quite a relevant one actually. Funny that should be out there like that. Nicola Sturgeon and possibly the Scottish people, I don't know. They may want their independence, and if a country does want its independence, it should get it. Complete independence, I mean, and no financial aid, and we want to be free, but we still want backhanders and all that kind of thing. That's quite an important document. Some of them are well jammed. Medieval cupboard, I presume. Yeah, that's the St Elizabeth or Queen Elizabeth Tower. The other tower is the Big Ben Tower, or one of them is called the St Stephen's Tower and the other one is called the Queen Elizabeth Tower. Metal door, look. Look at that. That is solid metal. That weighs a ton. That's brilliant. And still works, yeah. I like the mechanism of that. That's a hairspring, like similar to what's in the clock actually. That's very good. And it's designed so it will lock itself when the door closes, so you must always have a key to get into it. 1621. That's very good. I wonder who made that door. I'd like to find that out, who IR was. Now, a door made nowadays certainly would not be lasting until 1621. Certainly would not be lasting that amount of time. "401 years old and still functioning perfectly." Very good. Anyway, back to where we were, because I wanted to let them people have a read of this. I was here a long time, do try to be fair. Tally sticks, so an accident waiting to happen. Just pause to read. Here we are, there's tally sticks, as I said. And they've got the notches like that. Then there'd be another half of this, so it would have been thicker, split down the middle, the inscription and whatnot written on it. And then when you joined the two halves up, it was a way of stopping fraud. Pause to read. I'm going to close that, as I say. I won't go into the whole lot of it, but return that to home for whoever wishes to come and see it.
Wir können ja erst nach um 7.
Ja, nicht.
See, this is what I mean about this thing huge. It's easy to strike down and whatnot, but when you're coming up the stairs, because of that, it's not easy to strike with the sword. Particularly if each step is a different height. Trip stairs.
No, that's okay. I will, right out here.
On va devoir monter? Mais
Oui,
non, on
attends.
va pas devoir monter, regarde.
Well, we are outside now. I bet you couldn't have guessed that, could you? Parts of the old London Wall. Let's get out of the sun. Tower built for King Edward. We've pretty much read all that, but give you a quick flit of it. Under there, revolting levels of security needed there, my dears. Heaven forfend you if you try and go under that, because look where it goes to. This is a Parliament. Such me for not looking where I'm going, won't it? Get out of there. I'll have a walk around the outer walls. Could have had a moat, of course. Well protected in its day. But it's nice here. I think I'll sit and eat my lunch here. I enjoyed this one. I got mulberries. door to only heaven knows where. Well, not only heaven, but someone will know where it goes to, but I'm not your man for that. And come back round to here. As I say, this is all old original stonework, if walls could talk, as they say. It's very warm. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I literally fell arse over tit down these stairs, and I'm not even joking. I went over like a good one. So, yeah. People over in the cafe over there, someone shouted out, "Oh, are you alright?" So, yeah, I think so. Oh god, that was embarrassing, that was. That's filming and not looking where you're going, you see. It's the moat down in there, and as I say, into there you do not want to go. There's a door that goes in there as well, so yeah, it's most interesting. Try not to fall up the stairs now. Fallen down them, so I'll fall up them. As I was going to say on my way back, but I had to start again, and I'll blend the two together, merge them. These square holes here are for wooden things that were called putt logs. When they had the old wooden scaffolding, they'd have a wooden beam sticking out, and the scaffolding would be built onto that and go further up and whatnot. And once the building was all completed, they'd saw the putt log off there, because most buildings were rendered in those days, so you wouldn't have seen it until the wood rotted away, and here we are many hundreds of years later with putt log holes. Right, ladies and gents, I hope you all enjoyed that one. Lovely little garden. I'm going to sit here and have my lunch. Take care all, and if you did enjoy that, please give it a like and a share. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm going to go and now nurse my back and my pride, because that bloody hurt, I must admit. Take care all. See you all soon.